Hi and welcome to GRVO TV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. I've been away for a little while, so this is my first video for a little while, apologies for that. The groundbreaking news is that Nikon have just launched the D600. Obviously I haven't got one, I don't think anyone has at the moment, so don't leave comments saying, no, you're doing a preview on a camera you haven't got. No, I've got the Nikon have emailed me all the details, and I'm just going to go through and give my opinion of it. So what is the D600? Well, it's a consumer model, first of all. It's not a pro model, but it is full frame. So it's the first full frame Nikon, and I believe Canon, consumer digital SLR that's full frame, which is a good thing if it's pitched at the right price, but we'll come on to that. Anyway, about the D600, so what is it? 24.3 megapixel. Well, I think that's sensible. I used a Nikon D800 the other day, and just uploading the file sizes, I just think 36 megapixels is too much, unless you're specifically doing massive photos or posters or something professional in the studio. So 24.3 megapixels, full frame sensor. I think that's a nice sort of progression from the sort of the 12s and 16s, etc. So that's good. High sensitive autofocus. It's got this new mirror system which makes it it allows more time to focus. It's not necessarily quicker, but it gets out of the way quicker, and it just allows you more time to focus, so the focusing is meant to be a little bit better. ISO 100 to 6400 up to 25,600. The ISO, you know, on most of the Nikons, I've got the D7000, on the D800, the D700, the D3s, 4s. It's all good, isn't it? You can pretty much take photos in the dark nowadays, so don't worry about that. X-Speed 3 image processor, HDR, active D-lighting, all the usual stuff, time-lapse shooting, scene recognition. I mean, looking at the spec, it's very similar to the D7000, and it's almost like a D7000 but the full frame version, which is a great thing. I don't understand things like the continuous shooting is 5.5 frames per second, whereas the D7000 is 6. I mean, why is that? I don't know. That might be something to do with this new mirror. It's got the quiet shooting mode, as does the D7000. It's obviously in a similar size body to the D7000, but the hump on the top is going to be a little bit bigger to allow for the full frame sensor and the bigger sort of viewfinder. Interestingly, on the viewfinder it says approximately 100% coverage. What's approximately 100%? It either is 100% or it isn't 100%. I don't really get that. But if it's anything like the D7000, it's going to be brighter, and it's going to be kick-ass. So, anything else? Twin SD card slots. That's I think ideal, because that matches the D7000, and it also uses the same battery, I believe, as the D7000. Don't know if it will be the same battery grip. This camera, when you look at the range, is the one above the D7000 before you get into, obviously, the pro cameras start at the D700. And interestingly, when you go onto the pro cameras, sorry, the D300S is still there, the D700 is there, so it isn't a replacement for the D700, which I think people probably thought it was, because it's like a D700 with video. Which I didn't mention, the video is going to be fantastic on it as well. It's broadcast quality video, they're saying. So that's going to be good. I think you're still going to get the images with the noise of the lenses, but we all know now, you need to do off-camera sound or manually focus to get around that. So the D700 is staying in the range, which makes the price point interesting, because I've heard rumours that this is going to be £2,000 in the UK, because of the strength of the pound and the dollar and the yen and God knows what. The D700 full frame, no video, 12 megapixels, but I've never met anyone that's got a problem with the D700. Perfect wedding camera. you know, at the end of the day, how can it be 500 quid more than D700? So I think if they pitched the price right and pitched it between the D7000 and the D700, which is where it's placed in their lineup, then I think it would be an absolute fantastic buy, and I would definitely look to buy one. However, the problem you're going to have is you can use DX lenses on it. However, it's a full frame camera, so you want full frame lenses. So this lens I've got at the moment, which is the Sigma 18-52-8, is a DX lens, so that's not going to work to its full capabilities on the D600. So if you're going to invest whatever it is, 15, 18, 19, £2,000 on a D600, you're going to have to invest in full frame lenses. Otherwise you might as well just buy a D7000 and be done with it. So there's that to take into consideration. I've got two full frame lenses and this DX lens, so for me the step up from the D7000 to the D600 would be quite nice, and yes, I would love to do it. I can't afford it at the moment, so it's not an issue for me, and the D7000 is, in my opinion, a phenomenal camera. So there it is, the new D600. I think it's going to be a wonderful camera. It's going to give you wonderful images. I think it'll be a great wedding photography camera, although is it going to be better than the D700? It's got the video on it, so yes. The file size is going to be bigger, so you've got to take that into consideration when you're sitting there in Lightroom or whatever doing your processing. Your files are going to take longer to load, longer to save, longer to adjust. So you know, you've got to take you're going to need bigger memory cards again. So you've got to take a lot into consideration. But there it is, the Nikon D600. It's a consumer model, not a pro model. It tops the D7000, and it's the first Nikon full frame camera. To sum up, full frame consumer camera, sorry. So to sum up, I think it's brilliant if they get the price right, and I think it's a great starting point because Canon are going to follow. You know, they're going to make, and in the future there'll be more coming out. So you know, I think it's a great time for photography. Anyway, cheers, bye.